Today there's no mystery about how to be successful. There's just so much information out there that we can have access to. And people like Bob Proctor have studied this for 50 years plus now, and he's willing to share that with us. One of the things he's told us is that they have certain habits. Successful people have certain habits simply that unsuccessful people don't have. Hello, my name is Lindsay and I live in Auckland, New Zealand. And I would just like to share with you one of the habits that successful people have that others don't. And that one habit is persistence. Now, there are certain steps that we can take that can reinforce that habit and make it part of our life. Let's look around at the people who have succeeded and why they succeeded in the first place. And it always comes back to the fact they just simply didn't give up. Not because they were brighter, smarter, or more talented. There are lots of smart, talented people who have not succeeded because they did give up. Now, when we were youngsters, when you were learning to walk and learning to ride a bike, you didn't give up either. And it might have just been different disappointments or different circumstances that started to get you in the habit of giving up. Well, you can get back persistence. You can learn how to reinforce that habit once more. There are just certain steps you have to take. Using the analogy of one of the heroes of New Zealand is Sir Edmund Hillary. He was the first man who climbed Mount Everest. Now, he did that against all odds. No one had ever done it before. He was constantly told that it was impossible. A lot of people had died in the attempt, yet he was still willing to persist until he got there. Now, there are 7 steps that he would have used to have that strong belief and persistence to keep him going and going under hardship. He needed to be persistent. Now, the first step that he would have needed is he wanted to know what it was that you actually want to do. Now, that sounds obvious, but sometimes we haven't made the decision yet. We want to be successful, but we haven't really nutted it out what it is we want to be successful at. So that's the first step. Think about what it is that you want. Set that goal. That's the first step. Ed Hillary decided he wanted to climb Mount Everest against all odds. It didn't matter. No one else had done it before, but that didn't matter. It was what he wanted, and that's what he decided on doing. And that's what you need, that first step. Make the decision what it is you want to do. The second thing is you've got to have a very strong desire, a real passionate belief in wanting to do this. Now, he wanted to climb Mount Everest more than anything else. That was going to be his strong desire. That was going to make him get up at odd hours, go through amazing physical pain and criticism and everything. He wanted it so much. It was a passion. It was a must-have. Not just, oh, I'd quite like to. This was something that he wanted more than anything else. And that's what you need. You want to have a goal that you want. You must want it more than anything else. You also have to have belief in yourself. You can't do something if you really don't believe you can do it. You might not be able to do it yet, but you've got to believe that you can do it. You must believe that if you carry on doing the right things, that you will simply achieve this target. Now, Ed Hillary must have had to believe that as well. You imagine what ideas were set when he decided to climb a mountain and be the first in the world to do so. He would have been told he was foolish, he was silly, and human beings couldn't go to that height. Local people around would have said, oh, how silly he was. Why, who did he think he was? But he believed in himself to try and try again. And that's how the same sort of belief that you've got to have in yourself. The fourth step is make a plan. You've got to have a plan, not a plan necessarily to how to get right to the top of your particular mountain, but you must have a plan to take first steps. It's those first steps that are often the hardest. But write down just something that you can do, something that will get you on the move. Now, when you get to the next step, you'll know that, and you'll be able to see it from a different perspective, and you'll understand what the next step is. But you need to take the first steps now, albeit very small, it doesn't matter. But you do need a plan on taking those first steps. Ed Hillary didn't know how to climb the whole mountain at the time, but he took it one step, literally, at a time. Just like you did. Now, things were changing, there's weather, there's all these other things that he had to take into consideration, which he had no control over. So he had to be flexible, but he did have to know that he'd have to take certain steps, And that's what you have to do as well. Just start learning to take those separate little steps at a time. Just keep momentum going. This will just reinforce that you're moving forward towards where you want to be. The next one is you actually have to make it a focus. Olympian champions, they don't go around saying, oh, well, I'm going to be an Olympic champion in my spare time, and I'll do something else as well, and I'll do this. No, they just say, we'll be an Olympic champion in one field, and they focus on it totally. Everything else has to be stepped aside. And this is what you need to be with where you're going to go. You have to make it the most important thing in your life. If you want to reach these goals, you can't have it as an option number 3 after you've done all these other things. No, it has to be number 1. You have to understand that focus and determination is a huge part of success. Number 6 is you have to understand that when you first start off, you won't have the skills to get where you want to be at the top. You're going to have to upskill. Now, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's practicing a sporting technique or hours and hours of practice of that, reading skills, upskilling, learning, it doesn't matter, but you will, whatever craft it is, you will know what it is, and don't be discouraged that you don't know how to do it now. Just take on board that, yes, I have a learning curve, that I'm going to upskill myself. It's part of the deal. So when you come across something and you don't know how to do it, be prepared to upskill. Don't get put off. Don't give up. Part of getting there is going to be a learning curve. And if you think about it in advance, then you're not going to worry about it. You're going to take it on board and just do it. You're going to have a lot of things coming from left field that you won't be able to control. You're going to have learning curves, flexibility, and all these other skills. You don't know how to get there yet, but that doesn't stop you from getting there, as long as you persist. The final step that will make all the difference in helping you to reinforce persistence is have a support team. Depending what it is, it could be a coach, a sports coach, a mental coach, it could be a mentor, or it could just be a support team of your friends. Friends who will help you get transport to go where you're training. People who you can ring up and say, hey, I just need to be encouraged some more. Surround yourself with people who believe in you. People who are going to give you that extra something. When you're really down and you're really tempted to quit, they're going to hold up their hand and say, hey, come on, you can do it. Don't try to go alone. It's too difficult to do that. You need to be part of a team. Not necessarily a team as in like part of a team you're all doing the same thing, but you need to have somebody you can call on, somebody who you can talk to, somebody who's there, totally non-judgmental, somebody who believes in you and your goal just like you do. It's a very important part of the process. Now, if you follow those 7 steps, you're going to reach any goal you want because you will persist. Every one of those will strengthen your determination to carry on. And that's what persistence is. It's just carrying on regardless of what happens in circumstances beyond your control. Nothing matters. You just carry on. You have one focus. You'll be able to do these things because it will become a habit. It'll be firmly ingrained in your mind that no option. You don't have the option of saying, I'm going to quit. And you won't even think that way. It'll become part of who you are. It'll become a habit. Something you don't even think about. It'll just be you. You take that on board and you'll have every goal achievement that you want. Have a look at my website if you like this information. There's more there. Thank you very much. I love doing it and I hope you enjoyed the video.